When we are talking about mental health, we first need to talk about something else. We need to talk about human relations. We as human beings have this urge to get together. Of course, that's a common behavior in nature, but our evolution as a species brought us to a state, in such a state that everything we do comes from that urge to get together, to create families, as we call it nowadays. But the thing is that when I say family, I say all our fellow humans that we interact in life. And my friends, we need to always remember to laugh at ourselves because re- our relations make me see that we are weird and confusing. Unfortunately, we through our time in here in planet Earth, we did have our time probably some 100,000 years ago, but nowadays we are very weird and confusing. We claim to be rational beings. We claim to be uh, the owners of an amazing intellectual capacity, you know. But in fact, what we see is that we got to a point in which we create our problems in such a way that proves that we are in fact being inefficient in that process. I mean, we are not performing very well when it comes to that because as we see the world today, we have this all these great problems that could be solved with cooperation, with assistance between everyone, like regular and peaceful beings and all that, you know. But we, in fact, we do the complete opposite. We separate ourselves, we create troubles, we create systems to solve problems such as politics, but we use it to destroy it and all that. We destroy the families around the world. Every family is destroyed in some matter. We are, each and every one of us are suffering from psychic problems, mental pathologies and all that, because, and we can't deny that probably there are persons that have like almost no mental problems and all that. But as I drive this talk to myself, to give an example, people think that if you do this and so meditation, reading, that you are going to reach higher states of consciousness, you're gonna find inner peace completely, and so on. But the thing is that those are just tools there are that the universe offered to us so we can heal ourselves. You know what I mean? They don't solve the problem, but they are tools each and every one can use to dive into ourselves and see what is happening in there. That is something to think about, my friends, because being the way we are, we create amazing things as well. We can't forget that. For example, the manifestation of human love or empathy and all that, it's so beautiful. Our capacity to imagine amazing things is beautiful, since imagination is the structure of all our creations and all that. But the thing is that, my friends, when we talk about our relations, we need to laugh at ourselves because we are weird and confusing. We create these strange problems, we get attached to this and that, you know. Eh, and those attachments create such problems because we identify with the persons and the situations and family, that that's very important. But when we go deeper in those relations, we see that we are weird and confusing. That's it, my friends. And I say that with a heavy heart, but at the same time, I tend to laugh at that situation to make it lighter, you know, because the relations, they are the structure of our very own existences, whether we want it or not. Or not. A guy that lives in the jungle alone, far, far away, is still in relation. You can't deny that. The planet works that way. And the family would be not just our fellow human beings, but each and every being in this planet and the whole planet itself and the cosmos and so on. This great family, as we call it. And for example, when we get to mental health specifically, we have, for example, these two great diseases. There is depression and anxiety, but these two aspects, they of the thing is that they actually are natural. That is, the chemical aspect and how the brain triggers those substances in the body, those electrical impulses and all. The thing is that anxiety, for example, is important for survival. To get ready for a situation, to heighten the senses, to get into a dangerous situation and all that. That's okay. That's on the biological level. And we have depression, for example, when we, for example, we lose a loved one, we get depressed. But nowadays we are so deep in a system, in this crazy capitalistic evil system, evil in that sense that it's completely the opposite of the true good. That this system is destroyed our minds. I'm gonna go straight for it. It destroyed our minds, our psychological level, and now we're gathering the pieces and all that. And those relations are directly related to this. It's interesting, my friends. And then we go back to the individual. How the individual can think, can meditate on that. The individual must look within, actually, to understand those troubles, to understand those attachments, in order to transform transform his very own existence, to change those relations, to be more peaceful. That's the message of today. Let us laugh at ourselves. After all, everything is mandala.